Japanese Americans. Here at home, almost immediately after December 7th, 1941, the attack on the U.S. Naval Base at Pearl Harbor. The loyalty of all those of Japanese descent living in America, regardless of their citizenship status, was called into question. In February 1942, Franklin Delano Roosevelt signed Executive Order 9066. The executive order authorized the War Department to establish military zones within the United States. Under this order, residents with foreign enemy ancestors could be placed under surveillance, detained, and even relocated by military fiat. Few Americans of European ancestry were detained under this order, which was primarily directed at those of Japanese descent. Eventually, more than 110,000 Japanese and Japanese Americans living in the United States were forcibly removed and interned in 10 relocation centers. There, the detainees were subjected to harsh conditions that included overcrowding, water shortages, substandard housing, and exposure to extreme weather. In Hawaii, where ethnic Japanese accounted for more than 1/3 of the island's population, first-generation Japanese and Nisei, who were second and third-generation Japanese Americans, faced similar suspicions. Although few in Hawaii were relocated, their freedoms were severely curtailed. Determined to prove their loyalty to the United States and to come to the defense of their fellow Hawaiians, these former servicemen formed a civilian aid group called the Varsity Victory Volunteers, or VVV. The VVV provided the physical labor needed for the massive construction of U.S. military bases in the Pacific. Impressed with the VVV's determination and swayed by their vocal protest over treatment of the Nisei soldiers, the War Department reversed their course, announcing the formation of an all-Nisei combat unit, the 100th Infantry Battalion. Early in the war, the 100th Battalion combined with the men of the 442nd Regimental Combat Team, or the 442. In October 1944, they played a key role in the bloody rescue of what became known as the Lost Battalion. The Lost Battalion was an Allied unit that had been trapped and surrounded by Axis forces in the Vosges forest in France. In April 1945, the men of the 442, many of whom had family members living in the United States internment camps, were among the first Allied troops to participate in the liberation of the Nazi concentration camp at Dachau. 14,000 men served in the 442. Known as the Purple Heart Battalion, the unit was the most decorated military unit of its size in World War II. 700 were killed or missing in action. 9,846 Purple Hearts were awarded. And the unit earned 21 Medals of Honor, the nation's highest military award. Many members of the 442 went on to distinguished careers in science, academia, and government, including 9-term U.S. Senator Daniel K. Inouye from Hawaii. 6,000 Japanese Americans served in the Military Intelligence Service, or MIS, during the war. Many were recruited directly from internment camps and provided translation and interrogation assistance to the war effort. The MIS is perhaps the best known for the crucial role it played in deciphering a captured set of Japanese military documents known as the Z-Plan. The Z-Plan outlined plans for a final large-scale counterattack on Allied forces in 1944. The discovery of the Z-Plan has been hailed as one of the most important military intelligence successes World War II. The Congressional Gold Medal is the highest civilian award in the United States and has been awarded to heroes such as President George Washington, surviving veterans of the Civil War, Native American code talkers, the Tuskegee Airmen, Rosa Parks, the Apollo 11 astronauts, and Simon Wiesenthal. In 2010, over 65 years after the end of the war, the United States Congress passed a bill awarding the Congressional Medal of Honor to the 100th Infantry Battalion, the 442nd Regimental Combat Team, and the Military Intelligence Service.